Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations on becoming Mr. Chairman. I intend to vote against this nominee. I have been growing increasingly concerned over the last 2 weeks by what appears to be a concerted, coordinated pivot towards China by the new Biden administration. We've been seeing nominee after nominee embracing China more closely. We've seen multiple nominees refuse to answer whether they would keep Huawei or other listed companies on the entities list. One after the other, the nominees are all refusing to answer that. With Ms. Thomas-Greenfield, her speech at the Confucius Institute, I think, raises very serious concerns. Now, we saw her come before this committee and apologize for speaking to the Confucius Institute. Say it was a mistake. Say she was horrified by what she saw. I think there's several observations that are important. Number one, this speech wasn't something given decades ago with the innocence of youth. This speech was given in October of 2019, just over a year ago. Several of the defenders of this nomination have spoken of the wonderful virtues of Savannah State and historically black colleges and universities. Unquestionably, historically black colleges and universities play a pivotal role in our country, and speaking at Savannah State or any other university is a terrific thing. But she didn't go speak at Savannah State or any other university. She went to a Confucius Institute. And as the members of this committee knows, Confucius Institutes are controlled and are paid for by the Communist government of China. They engage in rampant espionage and propaganda paid for by China, and there are multiple members of this committee, Republicans and Democrats with whom I've worked, to pass legislation that has shut down dozens of Confucius Institutes across this country. And so to go and speak at a Confucius Institute, I ask each member of the committee, would you speak at a Confucius Institute? I don't think there's a member of this committee that would. It is not complicated to know that this is an organ of the Chinese Communist government. In explaining what she said, she also suggested, I don't know that she used this phrase, but her answer suggested that, well, she went to speak truth to power. I wish that were the case. I would actually feel quite encouraged if that had been what she had done. But we have the transcript of the speech she gave. And that transcript is not speaking truth to power. The speech she gave does not have one single critical word about China. By the way, she didn't give a speech about historically black colleges or universities. She was talking about China to the Confucius Institute. She knew who she was talking to. And the text of the speech, I don't believe it would have read differently if the Confucius Institute had written it. Because the text of the speech, not only does she not call out China's genocide, not only does she not call out the murder, the torture, the lies. Not only does she not call out the debt traps and captivity that China is using in Africa and throughout the developing world, but she praises China's Belt and Road Initiative. This committee has worked together. The BUILD Act, which this committee moved forward, was designed to combat the Belt and Road Initiative. Her speech praises the Belt and Road Initiative and says that America needs to follow China's example. I would also note that her speech was not a one-off. I put out a whole series of remarks that Ms. Thomas-Greenfield has made over the decades, repeatedly apologizing for China, saying we're not competing with China, which she said multiple times. At another time, she says that she viewed her role as, quote, to ensure that they have the capacity to strike and negotiate better deals with the Chinese. And I asked the members of this committee, at a time, China, I believe, poses the single greatest geopolitical threat to the United States over the next century. We need a UN ambassador who will stand up to China's pervasive influence at the United Nations. And given her record, I have no confidence that this nominee would do so. Now, For those who are listening and watching and wondering, well, is the speech really as described? I would encourage folks, read for yourself. The text of the speech, and Mr. Chairman, I would ask unanimous consent that the transcript of Ms. Thomas-Greenfield's October 25th, 2019 remarks at Savannah State's Confucius Institute be entered into the record.
Without objection.
So I would encourage folks, read the speech for yourself and ask yourself this: would you be proud to see the representative for the United States of America giving that speech at the United Nations? I don't think the answer is yes, and I think confirming this nominee is a mistake.
Senator Coons.
Mr. Chair.